In fact, water buffaloes. There's now 100 of them on this farm near Shipston-on-Stour in Warwickshire. Buffalo milk is much in demand for making cheeses like mozzarella, but a new English cheese will soon be launched using milk from this herd. It's been built up from animals brought over from Italy and Romania. Now they're producing calves here, what could be the start of a new British breed. Buffaloes have pleasant natures, they're cheaper to feed than cows, and their meat is free of BSE. And even in the bleakest of weather, they still love a cold shower. After all, they are water buffaloes. And that's all from Countryfile today. See you again next Sunday at 12 o'clock. Until then, goodbye from all of us. Next week, the row over four-wheel drivers. They deny they're vandalising the byways, but could there be a new road to peace? Farmers, mind your manners. The milk of human kindness does pay off. And towards 2000, how the countryside plans to celebrate the millennium.
The death of a child.
I know baby's died. Our grandchild has died.
In extraordinary circumstances.
From the minute the baby was born, there were efforts to conceal the birth.
And she said, Mom, I just couldn't leave it behind.
In the United States, you don't get extra points for killing a baby.
1 year on, her future still uncertain, Caroline speaks to Inside Story.
It's like someone has torn your life into shreds and is now kind of like juggling them about.
Tuesday at 10:40 on BBC1. Cosy, well off, all's fine now. But what about paying for schools, healthcare and pensions? Paying for the future.
You've got to look after yourself.
You'd be looking at a total cost of approximately £400,000.
In a world without welfare, just how many can pay for their own private dream?
There's just no way we could afford that sort of money at the moment.
The reality of the welfare state. Part 2 of Panorama's major investigation, tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC1.
Alison Moyet and Dani Behr put themselves to the test in 5 minutes with BBC 2's Fantasy Football League. This is BBC 1.
Good afternoon. Sinn Féin says the Northern Ireland peace process is now in danger because Mr Major wants an election there. We'll be asking if it can be rescued. And would the welfare state be safe in the hands of a Labour government? That's after the news, read by Chris Lowe.
Good afternoon. France has angered countries in the South Pacific by carrying out a 6th nuclear test. The Australian government reacted by lodging an immediate protest. The test was carried out on an atoll near the main testing site of Mururoa. The French Ministry of Defence said that the blast was equivalent to just under 120 kilotons of conventional TNT explosive. Kevin Connolly reports from Paris.
Under the blue waters of the South Pacific, the now familiar turbulence marking another French nuclear test. And from the government of the region, an equally familiar, angry response.
This has been a deeply regrettable and deeply irresponsible chapter in modern French history.
French military experts will examine the results of this blast, the 6th since testing resumed last year, with particular care. If they decide they now have the results they need to conduct future experiments by computer simulation, this will be the last French test. But France continues to insist any shortening of the series has nothing to do with foreign diplomatic pressure.
The timetable of this campaign has been set by technical issues, not by political issues. And if we can live with fewer tests, we are very happy.
France insists the atolls of Polynesia on which it's carried out its tests have not been harmed by the nuclear program. Environmental groups say that's not true, and they argue it could be thousands of years before the full extent of any damage becomes clear. Kevin Connolly, BBC News, Paris.
Here, forecasters say the current freezing weather is set to continue until the middle of the week. 900 homes in Wales have spent another night without power. With demand for electricity at peak levels, the National Grid say they're doing all they can to keep people's lights on, and they're monitoring the situation minute by minute. There's growing concern for a 5-year-old boy who disappeared from outside his home in Middlesbrough yesterday morning. Damien Williams was last seen building a snowman in his garden. Cleveland police say they're searching open ground near where the boy lives. The Bosnian Serbs have said they'll release all their remaining Bosnian government and Croat prisoners later today. A larger number of Serb and Muslim prisoners were exchanged in northern Bosnia yesterday, but the Bosnian Serbs have released only civilians so far, and it's hoped all 900 prisoners registered with the Red Cross will be freed soon. A member of one of America's richest families is under siege at his home near Philadelphia. Police are trying to arrest John DuPont on charges of killing a former Olympic wrestler. More than 70 police are surrounding Mr. DuPont's house. He inherited a fortune from his family's chemical company. The police say they're reluctant to storm the building